The world woke up to devastating news that has shaken music lovers across continents. Jimmy Cliff, one of the true giants of reggae and one of Jamaica's most cherished cultural icons, has died at the age of 81. His passing has triggered an emotional wave of grief rarely seen in the entertainment world. Social media feeds filled instantly with tributes, fans posted videos of themselves listening to his greatest songs, and radio stations in dozens of countries began replaying his classics in continuous rotation. The shock has been global, heartfelt, and immediate. The news was confirmed by his wife, Latifah Chambers, who shared a sorrowful message announcing that her husband had passed away after a seizure followed by pneumonia. Her statement expressed the depth of her loss while also thanking fans for their support throughout his career. She mentioned how much strength he drew from the people who loved him and how his journey was made meaningful because of the global audience that embraced him from the beginning. The message was signed with love by their children, Lilty and Aiken, completing a heartbreaking announcement that left the world stunned. For many, this loss feels almost unreal. Jimmy Cliff was not simply a singer. He was a movement. He was the voice that carried Jamaica's soul to every corner of the world. He was a symbol of the fight for justice, a messenger of hope, and an artist who believed deeply in the power of positivity, even when confronting the harshest realities of life. Hearing that he is no longer here has created a sense of emptiness among fans who grew up with his music as a comforting and motivating force. In Jamaica, crowds gathered in streets, homes, and community spaces as his songs began playing everywhere. From Many Rivers to Cross to You Can Get It If You Really Want, people were seen singing through tears, holding on to memories of a man whose voice had guided them through heartbreak, hardship, celebration, and growth. The country's Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, released an emotional tribute calling Cliff a true cultural giant whose music carried the heart of Jamaica to the world. He described Cliff as a storyteller whose songs reflected the soul of the nation with honesty and courage. Holness said that Jimmy Cliff shaped the global respect Jamaica enjoys today and that his contributions will never be forgotten. Outside Jamaica, the response was just as powerful. In London, where Cliff recorded much of his early work, fans gathered outside music stores and at cultural centers. In New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, Lagos, and Rio de Janeiro, communities organized spontaneous listening sessions. People from different generations, backgrounds, and cultures found themselves united in grief. Even those who did not grow up listening to reggae knew Jimmy Cliff's voice. His music had reached their parents, their older siblings, and eventually them. Part of the shock comes from the fact that Jimmy Cliff seemed larger than life. His music carried so much spirit that it felt immortal. His voice had a rare clarity, strong yet soothing, emotional yet steady. His lyrics spoke about struggle but always reached toward hope. His songs reminded people that even in darkness, there is light somewhere waiting to be found. That kind of artistry creates a personal connection for listeners, which is why his loss now feels so difficult to accept. Jimmy Cliff's rise to international fame began in the late 1960s when he signed with Island Records. His song, Wonderful World, Beautiful People, brought him global attention and helped open international doors for Jamaican music. Then came Vietnam, a protest song so impactful that Bob Dylan called it the best he had ever heard. These early successes established Cliff as not just an entertainer, but a socially conscious voice who was unafraid to confront the world's injustices. But it was his groundbreaking work in the film The Harder They Come that cemented his place in global culture. The 1972 film featured Cliff in the starring role of Ivan, an ambitious singer caught in a corrupt music industry. The movie portrayed the realities of Jamaican life with grit and honesty. Though the film's initial release was limited, it became a cultural phenomenon and introduced millions around the world to the raw power of Jamaican storytelling. The soundtrack, which included several of Cliff's most iconic songs, remains one of the greatest reggae albums of all time. The influence of that film and soundtrack cannot be overstated. They helped define reggae's global identity, bringing a new level of visibility to Jamaican culture. For many fans, hearing those songs for the first time was a life-changing moment. The combination of Cliff's performance and the emotional weight of the music introduced reggae to listeners who had never encountered the genre before. It created a lifelong bond between Jimmy Cliff and audiences around the world. Although his career experienced ups and downs, he never lost his passion for music. His 1985 album, Cliffhanger, earned him a Grammy, and he continued to perform, record, and inspire for decades. Jimmy Cliff once described his approach to music by saying that every song he wrote needed to carry a message. He believed music should uplift people, inspire them to live, and remind them to appreciate life. He said that the battle between positivity and negativity defines human experience, and he saw music as a tool to help people stay balanced. His philosophy of upliftment is one reason why fans are grieving so intensely now. Jimmy Cliff gave them music that helped them survive hard moments. He gave them messages they carried into adulthood. His songs became the emotional soundtrack of their lives. Losing him feels like losing a guiding voice. Around the world, celebrities, artists, and musicians shared their grief. Younger reggae artists expressed gratitude for the doors he opened. Rock and pop musicians posted about how Cliff's music shaped their creativity. Fans who had never met him wrote heartfelt messages describing how his songs helped them during times of loss, heartbreak, and change. Many said that his music helped them believe in themselves again. This global reaction is a clear reflection of the kind of impact only a few artists ever achieve. In the entertainment world, the conversation now focuses not only on the sadness of his passing, but also on the enormity of his legacy. Jimmy Cliff was one of the few artists who remained relevant across multiple generations. His music aged like wisdom, timeless, valuable, and always needed. Young listeners continue to discover his songs today, often describing them as refreshing in a world full of noise. His sound, simple yet powerful, has aged better than almost any genre from its era. As the world continues to mourn, one thing is clear. Jimmy Cliff's death has created a silence that will not be easy to fill. But the echoes of his music remain, alive in every place his songs once played. His voice can still be heard in the streets of Kingston, in the clubs of London, in the neighborhoods of New York, and in the playlists of millions who loved him. The shock may be heavy today, but the gratitude is even stronger. Jimmy Cliff gave the world music that will outlive him by generations. He gave the world truth, upliftment, rhythm, and hope. And although he is gone, his legacy continues to rise like the spirit of every river he sang about crossing.